like this. 2020 is about as well known as Unsolved Mysteries, right? When, like, the 2020 Unsolved Cases or whatever, you know, they do true crime as well. There's a case out there that we're actually thinking about covering. It's called the Alyssa Turney case. And in the Alyssa Turney case, her sister is on a 2020 episode with her father. And Sarah herself has come out and said, I was so pissed off because there's things that they didn't show me. We didn't know certain things until the episode aired. So I couldn't even speak on those things because I didn't know that they had happened. Like, there's a huge thing in that case about how her father picked her up from school early that day. And Sarah said she didn't know that until after the episode aired, and it probably would have affected the way that she felt about certain things. But they don't tell people that. They want to get everybody's individual ideas. So they might not have known that Rob said that he met her at the hair salon. I personally don't really believe the strip club thing because Pistol didn't mention it. He said she had a passion for doing hair. Is it possible? Yes, she was very pretty. We saw that in the video. But I don't think the strip club thing actually happened. But I do believe that all the other things are true.
You want to believe the rest of the stuff. You want to believe the stuff that goes with your narrative is true. However, but that part's not true. That questions the entire Facebook. And also, is it confirmed that that's even someone or just someone trying to get their 15 minutes of fame?
Like I said, if it's true, it explains a lot. And we already know that Rob lied. We already know there's other sources besides just that Facebook post that do confirm that Rob did have life insurance on Patrice.
How?
They literally go into detail. Like, I don't remember exactly where they were. They were just kind of articles I read in passing when I was researching. But there are articles that confirm that he did have life insurance on her. And in the episode, he says, she's 38. Why would I have life insurance on her?
So Unsolved Mysteries didn't check to see if he was telling the truth or lying about that. But the rest of the world has it on the internet. And Unsolved Mysteries didn't bother to see if that was true.
I don't think any of this came out until after the episode aired. Why would anybody... He never said before that he didn't have life insurance on him.
When they were interviewing him, he said that he didn't have life insurance. Now, if I'm an interviewer, I'm listening to that, and I'm thinking, that's weird. You brought that up? I would be checking.
But nobody had to make the point until after he lied about it. If you tell me right now...
You think that was live? Was that episode live?
No, but nobody would have known that he said it until it got released.
Except for the person that interviewed him.
Except for the person
cameras, the
but
people
nobody
that were
online would have known to put the information out there is what I'm trying to get across. They wouldn't have known that they needed to correct this guy because the information was out there.
You don't think people have ways to check that? That should be public record. That should be something...
It's not public record. My grandmother worked for an insurance agency where she put out life insurance claims for years. And that stuff is not public record.
So it's not easy to find out.
No, it's really not that easy to find out.
But all these people on the internet know.
Because probably a family member came out, like maybe Pistol, and was like, hey, he did have life insurance on my mom. But he probably didn't know he needed to make a point.
They talked to Pistol. Why wouldn't the interviewer ask Pistol there?
Who's to say that Pistol isn't the first one that they interviewed? And they interviewed Rob later, so they wouldn't have known to fact check with Pistol.
I'm making a TV show. I'm getting all my facts straight before I make the show.
But this is a reboot. It's not being made by the same. It's not being made by the same people. It's new people. These people.
It doesn't matter.
All I'm saying is that these people
if I'm a credible interviewer, I check these things before we do it.
Okay, but that doesn't mean they're not necessarily credible. This episode, like I said, is a lie.
But these people on the internet are credible?
I'm not saying they're credible. Stop putting words in my mouth. All I'm saying is that this episode didn't have a lot of evidence. It's all hearsay. So why shouldn't we involve the hearsay from the internet just like they're involving hearsay? Because everything that they put out there is hearsay. There was no evidence, nothing in that fucking hair salon for them to connect anybody to the crime. So everything that they're putting out there is hearsay. I think that it was irresponsible for them to put this case out there anyway because they had no evidence to give. Literally, this whole episode was, I think this, I think that, I remember this, but I remember that. And they're contradicting each other.
Unsolved Mysteries, they put these cases on, and then they have people call and give information to try to solve the mystery.
Okay, but all I'm saying is that they didn't have any evidence. So, yes, they might be trying to solve this mystery, but you can't come at me and be like, oh, well, if they're credible. Well, they're clearly not credible because they didn't have any evidence for this shit. The only evidence that's out there is Patrice's remains, which prove that she's dead.
So, evidence... The crime scene's not evidence.
The crime scene didn't have any evidence. The crime scene didn't have any evidence. If you remember correctly, they literally said...
Missing money from the cash register.
Missing money from the cash register.
Evidence.
That's one piece of evidence. Her purse was on the counter, so if they were really going to steal her shit, wouldn't they take her purse and any money in her purse, too?
Did they say that there was money in that purse?
They didn't say that there was anything in that purse, but the purse was left on the counter. If I'm stealing money, I'm just grabbing anything that potentially could have money in it. I'm taking money out of the register, and I'm taking her purse, because who knows? She's a hairdresser, which means she makes tips. She could have hundreds of fucking dollars in that purse.
Or you say, hey, give me the money in your purse.
I don't think that that's how that happened. If she was kidnapped and taken, which is what we're assuming happened, she didn't leave willingly, as we're all saying. Wouldn't
but
you?
There was no drag marks. I don't think she left willingly, but she could have very easily been at gunpoint and said, get in the car.
Okay. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but I'm not saying... I also don't think if that happened... Like, if somebody says, get in the car, I'm grabbing my purse. Because my purse probably has my phone in it, and phones have triangulation tracking.
If my kidnapper specifically tells me not to grab my purse because it has a phone in it, because they know that it's got tracking.
But her phone wasn't in her purse. They found her phone. Her phone was on the counter with the cash register money.
So, like, somebody could have taken that phone out, put it on the counter, also could have taken the money out. I mean, you're trying to explain to me why some serial killer that admitted to it and then retracted his statement and then gave the police bad information, you're trying to explain to me why he did it in comparison to the husband, but there's no evidence to point in either direction. The husband could have just as easily been like, give me the money out of the cash register, we're going to make this look like a robbery. Sure.
It's not necessarily, like I said, there's no evidence in this case. This isn't like the Ray Rivera case where we have evidence. His flip-flops were found. His cell phone was found. There was a phone call made to here. This piece of evidence was found. His car was found. This isn't that case.
Her car was found.
Her car was found, yes.
Her purse was found.
Yes.
This is all evidence.
But it's
not no evidence. This is all evidence.
Literally directly out of the fucking special agent's mouth. There was very little evidence in this case. Very little evidence.
So they gave us the evidence.
Very little evidence, not enough to make a conclusion. That's why they were pulling at fucking straws.
None of these are going to have conclusions. It's unsolved motherfucking mysteries.
I'm just saying that's why they were grasping at straws, trying to pin people who have no connection to her on a murder.
You bring up other things that you found. I get that. I'm just explaining why I don't know if that's true.
I mean, here's the thing. Patrice's skull was found. Patrice's remains were found 20 months after her disappearance.
600 days exactly.
600 days exactly, yeah.
Which is weird.
Exactly. They were found at a church, a couple miles away from a church, and Pistol and Nancy, both of them, think that Rob did it. Rob lies about plenty of things. And, let's not only talk about the fact that Rob asked the funeral director to reassemble her. He asked them to reassemble her. He didn't invite her son.
Well, he is a dick.
Or any of her friends, or her father. Why wouldn't, if you're trying to make yourself look as innocent as possible, I don't think this guy thinks he's innocent. He has a degree in criminology. I think that he just thinks he's smart enough to get away with it, quite personally myself.
So far, he's succeeding.
But he asked the funeral director to reassemble her, and he walks around with her skull he says. Which is just weird to me. Very weird to me.
That.
I would never, if Davey died tomorrow and he decomposed and his skull was all that was left, I would never be able to hold his skull. I would never be able to do that.
This may be a little different because it's not a spouse, but if my children die, I would probably hold their skulls as close to me as possible.
But that's your child. That's your child.
If
this
I
is
love
a spouse.
someone...
Here's the thing. I'm going to put it to you like this. A child comes from you, which is why I don't necessarily... It's still weird, but people hold dead babies all the time when they have stillborns. That's not weird to me. What's weird to me is that you can look at your ex-wife's bones laid out on a table.
It's not his ex-wife. They never
She's
got
dead
divorced.
now, so...
They
I'm going to call her his ex. She was planning to, so I'm going to call her his ex-wife.
This very well could be, if he's telling the truth, this could very well be someone who is deeply in love with someone who was an asshole.
I guess that my thing is that he really does use a lot of objectifying language. He calls her his teddy bear. Davey doesn't call me his teddy bear.
We don't need to talk about what you two call each other.
I'm just saying, it's very objectifying language.
People have nicknames all the time.
It's objectifying
language.
How is
teddy bear objectifying?
My teddy bear.
My teddy bear.
It's my teddy bear, which means I'm taking possession of it. I'm being possessive. I'm objectifying this person and saying that they now belong to me. They're my teddy bear.
Uh-huh.
That's objectifying language.
My baby.
You're killing me here. You're acting... Okay, you're all for women's rights, right?
Yeah, that has
so if somebody so if somebody walked up to a woman when you were standing outside and said, "You are mine. Nobody can ever take you from me."
No. That is completely different tone. That is a completely different tone.
It's not really, if you think about it. It's objectifying language, and it's possessive language, and we already know he was jealous and possessive. He was so jealous and possessive that her son getting attention was too much for him. That's a red flag to me. You should never feel like you're competing for somebody's child. You're a stepfather. Did you ever feel like you were competing for attention from your stepsons? No, because that's fucking ridiculous. They're this woman's children.
I didn't say he wasn't a dick.
But it's more than being a dick. It's thinking he has ownership of this woman. It's not about, oh, I'm not a dick, so I don't feel like I need to compete with my wife's with my wife's son for attention. It shows how possessive he was. And
the other stuff, yes, but saying my teddy bear.
I mean, I guess where you could say that's a nickname.
That's about context.
I mean, it could be about context, but he also says at the very end of the episode, I have her now, and that's a good thing. I will not share her ashes with anybody, especially Pistol. He's being possessive of her.
No, that was a really...
Even after he's died,
shitty.
You have to look past it being, oh, he's just a dick, oh, he's just this, oh, he's just that. He's being possessive, and she's already dead. And if he really loved her, and I'm going to put it to you like this, my mother was not very close with her dad. She loved her dad to death, but she was not very close to him. When my mom's dad died, she had him cremated. He went in an urn right away. If he loved this woman, if he loved Patrice... Why is she still sitting in the plastic piece of shit fucking box that he was given her ashes in?
That's what they gave it to him.
But you buy an urn. Every person I've ever met that's had somebody die that they love dearly, his teddy bear, right? Even the woman that ate her husband's ashes on My Strange Addiction had an urn for her husband. If this is somebody that you love, you buy them an urn. You don't leave them in a piece of shit plastic box, which is what he had. And he's had these ashes. He even said himself, I've had these ashes for a long time and I'm not going to share them with anybody. He's had the ashes for...
Even opened it.
No, that's bullshit. Because he opened it enough to sleep with her plastic box. He said that
unless he's stuck with the box.
He slept with the plastic box because... If he slept with the cardboard box, it would have fallen apart by now.
He said he never opened the plastic box. He kept her in the thing that she was already in.
But then why didn't he have her put in an urn?
I don't know why people do what they do.
It's just extremely weird to me. I've never met somebody that claims that they love somebody so fucking dearly, so much, and they don't even take the time to put them into an urn. You don't even take the effort, the time, the effort, and a little bit of money, because not all urns are expensive. Not all urns are expensive. To put her into something better than a plastic piece of shit box.
Maybe he felt like keeping her in her final resting place was the best way to keep her safe.
I think that that's bullshit. Because if that's the case, then why did he ever let them pull her bones up from where they were? That's her final resting place. That's where she was put after she died. That's bullshit.
Well, I don't think we really need to go into predictions because you flat out told me what you think happened.
I mean, I'll be honest. We're probably going to get a lot of shit for this episode because it's literally just been you and I arguing back and forth.
Yeah, this hasn't been much comedy.
But there's no evidence. There's no evidence to say that I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, I'm wrong. There's no evidence here.
I know. I didn't say there was. I'm saying that I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
You play devil's advocate in a way that pisses me off.
I'm just pointing
You're non-yielding. It drives me crazy.
I just don't want to flat out say that, a Facebook post is the deciding factor.
I mean, it's not just about the Facebook post.
It's
about the fact
if I really have a problem with all those things, why not call the number?
I guess my thing is,
if I really thought that he was guilty and I had ways to prove it, why didn't this person call the number?
Because she probably doesn't have any proof. If what she says is true, she's part of the family, so she has no paper proof that says he had life insurance on her and he kept it all. But it's something that would have been known within the family. There's no paper proof that says, well, he did this. He met her at a strip club. There's no paper evidence.
But I do know that he lied about that. So call the people.
That's
say, hey,
stupid.
You may want to investigate this. You have more resources than I do. Maybe investigate
Maybe this person doesn't want to flood the lines when they know they don't have proof. Maybe they're hoping that somebody else with more proof than them has the same information.
There's much worse people that call that have much less.
That doesn't mean that there's not good people that don't want to flood the lines.
But they want to make a Facebook post.
I mean, honestly,
do you want her killer to be caught, or do you just want to?
She probably doesn't want to start any shit in the family. If this Facebook post is real, she's part of this. It could be. I'm not saying it's not, but if this Facebook post is true, then everybody in Rob's family probably knows he did it, but also probably don't want him caught because he's part of their family. And they don't want the shame that comes with having somebody in prison.
No. I don't believe that bullshit at all.
Are you kidding me?
They downright bashed him throughout that entire episode.
Not his own family. And this would be coming from his own family. His last name is Endress. That is Patrice's married name. Her maiden name is, I think it's Kramer or Camper. Yeah,
she said that her
married name is Endress. And this person...
One of his kids that never got mentioned on the episode, that she's related to one of his kids.
I'm just saying. Like I said, I didn't find this information myself. I got it from another source. I got it from Plunder on YouTube. And she could have not fact-checked it, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, if that Facebook post is real, it raises a lot of questions for me. Because it's not unbelievable that he would be ex-Special Forces and have a degree in criminology. Those two things probably go together. Yeah. And he does have a degree in criminology, so he probably would know how to get away with it if he did it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. I'm saying that it looks really fucking fishy. If you just think that your wife's missing, if you just think that she's gone for a couple of days, why would you change the fucking locks? He already knew she was dead. That's the way that I feel. If I decided that I was going to leave the house for like 3 days, tomorrow, and I just forgot to mention it to Davey, and I'm going to visit my family in Michigan because somebody's dying, and I come back and the locks are changed.
Or, and I'm not saying this is the case, Because, yes, he is a douchebag, so you could be right. However, your wife goes missing, and if there's anything he's not saying, maybe he knows that he could be targeted next.
I doubt it. Because if he really had concerns, her purse was found. And from what I understand, there wasn't anything missing from her purse. There could have been money missing because they can't prove that the money wasn't there. But I believe they said that her keys were in her purse.
I don't believe they mentioned those keys at all.
I believe they said that. I think that I heard them. I could be wrong, but I think I heard them say that her purse was intact. Which would mean that everything that's in her purse is there. And if they had the keys to move her car to check it for evidence, which they would have done in a police investigation, then her keys were obviously there. So why did he need to change the locks? Nobody else has their keys. He knew she was dead. That's why he changed the locks. Because he knew that he couldn't let...
See, you're projecting, though.
I'm not projecting.
You're saying that's why... You're saying... You want to talk about...
Okay, let me educate you on the definition of projecting. Projecting means that I did something, and I'm now projecting it onto you. I'm not projecting.
Okay, maybe I'm using the wrong terminology, but you got on me about saying my teddy bear. That is objectifying language. That's what you just told me.
Yes.
But now you're saying he changed the locks because he knew he was dead. You're flat out making a statement that is
it's just part of my theory. It's just part of my theory. And if you remember correctly, I made statements similar in our last video. You're just jumping on this because you think I'm wrong, which is fine.
I don't know if I think you're wrong. I'm just saying
All I'm saying is that if my significant other went missing and I just thought they were gone for a couple of days, I wouldn't change the locks. That's shady as shit to do.
Unless you're afraid of something.
But he's not afraid of something.
How do you know that?
Because if the police are right and Rob didn't do it and it was one of these two serial killers, it was an isolated incident. These serial killers have no reason to attack a man.
Or it was someone completely different.
I doubt that. Nobody would have had they can't find anybody with a motive besides Rob and these two serial killers to kill her. She didn't have enemies. She didn't have any kind of, information. This isn't like Ray. This isn't like Ray where Porter, he uncovered information about Porter. This isn't that case. This is a case about a woman who just disappeared, and there's no motive behind it.
And there's no evidence to suggest that it didn't happen from someone else.
I mean, there's no evidence to suggest it, but I guess my thing is...
The evidence I'm talking about is he changed the lock. I'm saying that you're saying that it's absolutely because he knew that she was dead. I'm saying there's another possibility because the fact that we have this other person would have had to know where she lived, taken her keys, which they didn't do, and break into the house. Because changing the locks isn't going to do shit. If this person really wants into the house, they're going to get into the house. The fact that we have is that the locks were changed. That is the only thing that's a fact in our conversation.
Yes, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is a fact. I'm saying it's part of my theory. You don't have to jump down my throat you are jumping down my throat because all I'm saying... And
I'm giving you another explanation.
Okay, but...
You're saying that that's the only...
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is my assumption. I'm not saying it's the only explanation, but my assumption is that he changed the locks because he knew she was already dead.
And I'm giving you another possibility.
Let me tell you, if this is really somebody that he should be afraid of, they're not going to let changed locks stop them. Because the only other person that had locks or keys to get into the house is Pistol.
This is about the fear of the man, not about the possibilities that the person who is...
So he locks her son out. He changes the locks the day after she goes missing. He won't share her ashes. He's possessive over her dead body.
Okay.
And Well, I'm just supposed to believe that he was just so terrified as this big burly guy who said that he's not scared of anything. He didn't even say he was scared. He said he did it as a precaution, which makes no fucking sense because her keys were there. Her keys were there. That's the only reason you would need to take the precaution is if something happened and her purse was gone and they couldn't find her keys. That's the reason to take a precaution. You don't remember
if the keys were there or not. I don't recall them saying they found the keys.
They said her purse was intact.
They didn't mention money.
Like I said, if they had the information, if they had the keys to move the car, they obviously had her keys. And unless her car is still sitting in that parking lot.
Did they say that, like the police don't have ways to move a car that isn't with keys?
All I'm saying is I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it and see if her keys were found. Okay, just to be clear, we had to take a little pause there because I needed to find some information, but from the grunge.com, it's not the grunge, it's grunge.com, the purse was discovered and nothing was missing. Not even the cash she had been carrying. So her keys were there. Nothing was missing. They literally say nothing appeared to be missing, not even the cash. So they didn't take the cash, they didn't take the keys. That right there eliminates the possibility that he would have to do this for precaution because they didn't have the keys.
Unless you didn't know that.
It's not like the cops literally, Ender's car keys were left behind, and yet it seemed that the car had been moved from its regular parking spot. So they would have told him, hey, we have your wife's purse, we have this money, we have her car keys. Those are things that the cops tell you. They say, hey, we're going to take this into evidence. You're not going to get this back right away.
Okay, so he's a dick.
He's a dick, but he changed the locks. Like, that to me, like, I'm going to tell you the truth. If you died and you were living with your ex-wife and she changed the locks the day after, even though your keys were where you had left them, that's going to tell me that she killed you. Because clearly she already knows that you're dead, so you don't need to have the keys to get in anymore.
But why change the locks anyways?
Because I just think it was a way for him to have control over the situation. And if he really is a narcissist, which I think he is, because if you listen to that man fucking speak... But if he's really a narcissist, he likes having control over the situation. I think he honestly knew that she was dead. If it were me, I wouldn't have changed the locks at the possibility that my wife could come back. That my wife maybe just went somewhere for the day and didn't tell anybody, just like family emergency, and a family member came to pick her up. Because that shit happens. Like, literally, my grandma has left my car somewhere before but taken me because it was a family emergency. So there's nothing to say that somebody didn't come pick her up and take her on a family emergency and she's just not answering her cell phone and she just ran out of there without grabbing her purse because it's a serious emergency. Somebody could be dying. But instead of looking at it logically, this guy's like, I'm going to change the locks even though her keys are right here. Just, it doesn't sit well with me. That to me means he did it. And I'm not saying there's no other possibility, but to me that's just what that means.
Well, I'm just pointing out different things.
And that's fair. You have the right to do so. Just making a point.
It very well could have been him. I'm just trying to look at other options.
The only reason I don't think that it's other options is because 9 times out of 10, people are killed by people that they know. And the people that the police are trying to pin this on did not know her. They had no reason to target her.
Except for one of them literally admitted to meeting her and going to the salon.
When he says that we met... No, they didn't meet her and go to the salon. He says that he met her...
He met her and went to a salon.
No, he met her at the salon.
Uh-huh.
He hadn't met her previously. This is all if we believe the same guy that gave the police the wrong location for the body, which I think is bullshit, personally. But, like I said, it depends on the person. Like... I don't know. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at all the evidence, quote-unquote evidence that we have. And I'm just like, this doesn't sit right with me. This isn't a crime that just happened because somebody happened to walk into the salon. That doesn't make any sense. If that's the case, why didn't this happen a year ago when she
There's
first opened
evil
the
in this world in many different forms. You can't just say that there's absolutely no way that someone who just came into the salon didn't take her. I mean, the two people they talked to, maybe it wasn't them, but there's a lot of people in this world that just kidnap, rape, murder, just for the fun of it. Just for funsies.
Just for fun. Like I said, I'm not saying there couldn't be any other option. I'm just saying that this is what I think, and I'm entitled to that opinion.
I didn't say you weren't.
Now, what I will say is that I apologize very much, guys, because this podcast has probably not been very eye-opening. This has just been a lot of arguing, and like the episode was, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree, but the episode was a bunch of, I say this, he says that, she says I did this, and I say I didn't do that. It was a lot of he said, she said, hearsay shit. And I feel like that's what this podcast was.
Well, we're on brand.
On brand. On brand. Literally, he said, she said. That's what we should have called this podcast.
Well, I am trying to just look at the evidence, look at the things, look at what's being said, and give other options instead of just flat out saying, well, this is what happened. Well, if it was that easy, this wouldn't be an unsolved mystery. It'd be a solved one.
All I'm saying is I won't be shocked if this case gets reopened or they do another investigation into the case and they find out that Rob did it, because what kind of jackass says that he doesn't know for sure that his wife's dead but is going to change the locks? That's stupid as shit.
Unfortunately, the police can't go and arrest someone because he changed the locks. Well, he's guilty. He changed those locks. Let's go on in.
Sprinkle some crack on it.
Yeah, you can't. That's the problem.
No, I'm not saying they should prosecute him on the basis.
Yes, he's a dick.
I'm not saying
he's done some shady ass shit.
I'm not saying.
Unfortunately, none of it is proof that he did it.
Like I said, I'm not saying that they should prosecute him based on this information. I'm just saying I don't trust this motherfucker. Not for a goddamn second. Like, I just can't. Like, I'm literally listening to this guy.
This is your new Carol Baskin.
He literally is. Like, and that's honestly, like, the Plunder, the YouTuber that I was watching earlier, said that a lot of people feel like this guy is the new Carol Baskins.
Well,
like, we don't like Carol Baskins.
Here at Unsolved Mysteries, we say, fuck Carol Baskin.
Fuck Carol Baskin. That bitch Carol Baskin.
That bitch Carol Baskin.
I believe she did it. Like, let's just take a side road here. Do we believe that Carol Baskin's whacked her husband?
She killed her husband. She's crazy. Look at those eyes.
I don't know if I believe that she fed him to the tigers as like one whole piece, or if I believe that she put him through the meat grinder. I'm not sure which part I believe.
I don't know. Her saying, well, if I was going to do that,
I would cover him in sardine oil.
Sardine oil.
I don't know. Like, I feel like Carol Baskins did that shit, and I feel like Joe Exotic shouldn't be in jail because she did that shit. Joe Exotic's in jail. He didn't even do anything, and Carol Baskins killed her husband and is walking free.
Joe Exotic did some things.
And now, like, did you hear that? Now Carol Baskins has control over Joe Exotic's zoo.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that Jeff Lowe, or whatever the fuck that guy's name was actually like her first husband, helped her kill her second husband, and then helped her fuck over Joe Exotic, which I would not be shocked to believe, because Jeff Lowe was a fucking dickhole.
There was a lot of dicks in that show, including Joe Exotic. But we're not the Joe Exotic Tiger King podcast. We are the Unsolved Comedy.
No, I'm just saying. I just thought that was a fun little side note to take.
That's right. Fuck Carol Baskin.
That bitch Carol Baskin. All right. Thank you guys for listening. If you guys want to get a hold of us, we are on Gmail at unsolvedcomedies.com. You can hit us up at Dragon Blazers Production fan page on Facebook. And if you would like to find me on Twitter, I think I gave you the wrong Twitter name last time. I am Zaya Sudo at princess_Jimmy on Twitter. If you guys need to find me there. And we will see you in the next one.
So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and goodbye.